We're in the middle of doing all the free video tutorials on the Pfaff Creative Icon 2, and I want to show you how special the needle threader works. This automatic needle threader hangs out right here on the side of your machine, and all you need to do is actually just catch the last guide as you're threading it right down to the bottom. That's right at the top of the needle. Bring your thread underneath this little arm. Lay it in the little mouth, kind of push it to the back, and then over on the side of the machine, if you'll see the little cutter, just take your thread, pull it towards you, and it cuts it to the perfect length. Even holds it up and out of the way. Next, touch the needle threader button and sit back and watch the magic. Now, what happens if the thread doesn't actually go through the eye of the needle? Now, right now it has, and even if I don't want to touch it, I could start to sew right now. Usually I'll take my thread and maybe slide it underneath the presser foot down through the middle groove. But during embroidery, when I use it, I kind of don't touch it. I just go ahead and start the next color that I'm embroidering. But if it does not work, here are a couple things to realize or check. Number one, if your needle is a very small eye, so maybe you've picked a much smaller size than normal, a size 60 or 65, there's a point where nothing fits through that small of an eye, including this needle threader. You're going to need to manually hand thread that smaller eye on that needle. So that would be one way. Now, if you have used your needle threader on a needle that has too small of an eye, it could kind of even bend that little piece of metal that's coming through that's hooking that thread. And so after this, if that has happened, you might have a little issue on normal sized needle eyes. So just keep in mind, smaller needles, maybe don't use your needle threader. Put a little sticky note over the little button so you don't accidentally touch it. The other reason why it might not go through is if you have recently put a new needle in, which by the way you probably should, is if it doesn't get all the way up to the highest position. So you've tightened it before it's all the way at the top. Then that needle eye is actually much lower. So then this once again is not lined up to come through the eye of the needle, and that would also cause a problem. Make sure you've also cycled your machine. Touch the needle up down button. That's this button here. Take a stitch and make sure that needle is all the way in the position it should be before using your needle threader. So if you are in the habit of being over here on the side and turning your hand wheel, this should be a friendly button to push often to bring that needle to the highest place. If you have tried all these things and it's still not working, this would be time to just visit your local Pfaff dealer and they can readjust it to be perfectly aligned. Just think, how small would you have to be able to slide through that needle eye and pull thread through it? It's pretty delicate. So keep in mind that if it does get bent, it probably just needs a little TLC to be realigned and back in working condition. I hope you'll check out all of our videos that we have down below in the link called the Pfaff Creative Icon 2 Tutorial Playlist.